Triple M Breakfast, Rosie, Will, Daisy. What an absolute delight to head west. Do you want to do the introduction, saying he's one of yours, Will?
I mean, he is one of mine. I consider the Fremantle Football Club the Western Australian Bulldogs.
One of us as well.
The sister club, yeah.
I think they are a sister club. We're talking about Bob Murphy, of course.
He jumped in.
Yeah,
he
right,
jumped in.
speaking.
Sorry. I was going to give him a big glowing introduction, but he's already on the show.
Yeah.
He's
Ladies
not-
and gentlemen, Bob Murphy.
Yeah,
well
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
good
done
on you,
some
mate.
radio before. I mean, I was going to give you a big spiel, mate. One of the greatest Bulldogs of all time. You know, the heroic story of Bob Murphy from, essentially we're just getting the Gippsland boys back together for a radio show.
That's it. Well, I'm just a little bit rusty on the radio dial, but I appreciate being in your company, especially you, Rosie, but also a win for Gippsland tourism. We've finally infiltrated the airways for real. This is it's really happening. Well done, guys.
Whereabouts are you from in Gippsland, Bob?
Oh, Daisy, come on. You know that
No.
is a facetious...
I know that for the general audience
Okay,
that's listening
so-
who may
Did you-
not.
because I-
Did you
Sorry.
see that craft that Daisy was doing
And
there?
then you just shut me
He was-
down.
he
No,
was
I
like,
just...
"So tell me.
well, Daisy knows. This is... let's address the elephant in the room. Daisy's from Drew and I'm from Warragul.
Arch rivals.
Barely separated an arch rival, so there was a little bit of undertow there, a little sneaky little jab punch.
If you were going to do, like, for people who don't know, so if the two teams were going to come up against each other, what are the quick sketches of the demographics, the vibe that each of them are bringing to the table?
Well, we're the Hawks, you're the Gulls,
Yeah.
so we're already half in front there.
Well, you're in front there because, I mean, Warrigal is an Indigenous word for wild dog, and true to Warrigal's sort of, bent on things. Instead of going for the Warrigal Wild Dogs, we went for the Seagulls because Warrigal Gull, despite being 2.5 hours from the beach.
It does make sense as to why the pizza shop now in Warragul was called Wild Dog, though. You've just blown my tiny mind again.
The pizza shop was they were the only group that really got the memo on that one. Yeah. Oh,
but you
dear.
are coming back. It's officially been
Yes.
announced that
Oh,
you've
yes,
had enough
true.
over in the West. Hopefully on the way out there at Freo, you can take a bit of silverware. But you're coming back.
Yeah, on the way back, Daisy. It's been a pretty incredible 3 years, actually. Great adventure for the family. Have loved my time at the Dockers and still got a little bit to go there. Hopefully we can breast the tape, as they say. But yeah, got elderly parents and young kids, and just the tug of home just became something we had to do.
Did you get to see much music when you're in Perth or Freo? Like, is it a good scene over there, or are you missing it?
I assume it is a good scene, Rosie. I went to one Tim Rogers gig. That's kind of
Local act? Tim Rogers?
yeah. I sort
He's
of
from Western Australia,
I
isn't he?
like to push myself culturally and extend myself. I'd probably go to one gig
wonder
a
what
year.
Tim Rogers sounds like over this side of the country.
As I tell the young dockers, I say, hey, would you like to listen to some new music? Here's Hourly Daily by UMI. That's kind of...
Oh, look, that should be in everyone's playlist.
That's
Absolutely.
right. I'm sort of stuck in
Great
the
album.
90s. Yeah, but no, I haven't
fine.
seen as much as I should have, Rosie. Not like you. I know you're a rock and roller.
So is it true the reason you're coming back then is that you just did all the things there are to do in Western Australia?
Well, could you please elaborate? Give me a couple of the things that
You've done it at a slow pace if it took 3 years.
It was a few weeks ago I saw the quackers and went, well, they're just a big rodent, and it's
I think I'm done.
And then you wrote your letter.
let's hit the road.
Because Rottnest is on the back of being named Rat Nester officially.
It's Rottnest, quite the history there. Spectacular for a holiday, but quite the dark history there for sure.
Now, Bob, can we ask you just about Fremantle, obviously, because
You dropped an octave there. You went
was
very
serious
60
footy
minutes
stuff.
Paul Bongiorno for a moment there.
So, Robert, the Fremantle Football Club, from flag mantle to flake mantle.
Oh, well.
No,
Come
what's going on?
gee.
Where are we at? Is it good optimism around the club? Is it a good vibe? Could this be the year? I mean, anyone could win it this year. Could Fremantle be the team that wins it?
Well, firstly, we are optimistic. You guys know football clubs are inherently optimistic, hence the phrase 1 week at a time. There is an optimism to that. There's always next week. They are inherently optimistic cliches. So we've had a tough fortnight. You know, we were right there, ready to sort of grab the season by the scruff of the neck, and you know, we've had a couple of down weeks. And people have asked me, I'm sure they've asked you in your various social circles, that the season is more even than it has ever been. And the question I keep getting asked is this the anomaly, or is this the new normal? And I must admit, I'm sort of leaning towards, I think this is the new normal, and this is the AFL's creation that was started many moons ago, that this is actually how they want it, that on any given day you can get the 4 points. So the situation for Freo is pretty clear. We have to win to get our spot in the 8.
Because it officially looks like that it's either you guys will drop out and Carlton may drop in with the type of draw, and I know there's other machinations around that. Is that surely not lost on the group as to how important these last 2 games are after a bad fortnight?
Yeah, it is one of those things, Daisy. You sound a bit like my wife, actually. She's obsessed by the ladder.
The ladder predictor. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's my job, and you have to go through it a bit. So I apologise.
As soon as someone sort of talks to me about the ladder predictor, I do sort of find myself leaning away and tuning away. I go, well, that's not there. I think the situation is just so clear. So, you know footy well enough, Daisy, that you don't sort of look at the result per se, but because we just haven't played our best footy in the last 2 weeks. And if we can recapture that, our best has been pretty bloody good.
You spoke about the ladder predictor being one of those things that you lean away from. This is, it's footy spring. Like, it is time that we can clear out some of the things that maybe are clogging.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the new normal,
Yeah.
then sometimes if you've moved some new things in, you have to clean, so you have to Marie Kondo some things that are not
That's
sparking
it.
joy
Get
in you
rid of the
anymore.
clutter. I like
That's
it, Will.
right. And so I'm going to say that maybe the ladder predictor is some of the clutter that you'd like to move to the side.
Well, if that's too rich for your blood, if you love the ladder predictor so much, that okay, you can hang on to that. But what I would have to I would have to just passionately object to is anyone who says, well, mathematically we can still make it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm
I
here to
thought you were
tell
going
you.
to say you want to move your wife aside.
No,
play.
no, definitely no. No, we're in love. No one has ever made the finals after they've uttered the phrase, well, mathematically we can still make it. That's the end. That's having the full support of the board. That's it.
Kiss of death.
It is. That's the end of the show.
You are moving back over here, and I believe that you've got some clauses that you want when you're looking for a new job.
Yeah.
Well, you are looking for a new job, right? Is it? Are you putting the hand up?
Well, I suppose I am. In a hopefully a couple of months, finish up with Freo and moving back to Melbourne. So I'll be on the hustings. I'll be looking for a job and going through interview processes and putting together a curriculum vitae. If they still do those. Was that a 90s thing? Okay, cool. And
Get yourself a LinkedIn to put your CV
LinkedIn.
on.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
got a
LinkedIn.
Get yourself a
MySpace.
laptop
Yep.
first.
Yeah, I've got
MySpace will be fine. Tom will look after you.
Just give that a little brush up, sort of give it a bit of a spit shine, the old MySpace. But I don't have that much leverage, but I follow the band Oasis way too closely. They've disbanded 15 years ago, but I'm still holding a fan club membership. And there's always a chance that they'll reunite. And I did think, well, I just want to be upfront with any future employers and say, if they got together, if there was a reunion gig in London or Manchester or wherever, that I would be obliged to go over and take leave of absence.
That's fair enough.
I think
Is that
that's
fair
okay
enough?
they haven't been together, as you said, for 15 years. They famously don't get along very well.
No, they
So
hate
I
each
think
other.
as an employer, I think you're willing to lock that in. I think that's like if Rory Lobb comes in and says, I want an All-Australian bonus. You're like, you know what, we'll whack it in the contract and we'll roll the dice and see what happens.
Is it mathematically possible, though?
Well, it depends which brother you speak to.
It's
you know?
true, yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Now, I know you three have all got history with Oasis, so Will, the Oasis community, we're quite aware that you have slandered Oasis over the years by calling them a Beatles cover band. Now, we've heard that, and it hurt. And also, but at the same time, it's kind of a compliment to Oasis to be uttered in the same sentence as the Beatles. Daisy, unwittingly, I don't know if you realise, but a number of years ago, you had a Beatles haircut. It was, an Oasis haircut.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
because
quite-
they're the same band.
It had,
That's why you confused it, because Oasis
More
are just basically
slander.
the Beatles.
Anderson slams Oasis again. And Rosie, because you're the only cool one on this show, so you would understand that Oasis was once cool, then for a long time was uncool, and more recently, because of the 90s revival, it's kind of cool in a Fitzroy ironic sort of a way. And so
My
you'd be
love
down
has
with that.
never waned for Oasis.
Really?
I think they're great. Thank you, Bob Murphy, for joining Triple M Breakfast. We'll catch you again
Next week.
Next week, yes. Oh, I had to look at
we
Tegan.
May, how?
Well,
We
you know
maybe
what?
will catch you
Definitely
next week.
maybe
Yeah, there you go.
catching Bob Murphy next week.